Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today we're going to look at the 2020 presidential election between Senator Lincoln Chafee from the state of Rhode Island and President Donald Trump, of course, from the state of New York. So this election prediction should be pretty interesting considering that both candidates were 2016 presidential contenders. And of course, Lincoln Chafee did not make it past the Democratic primary. He didn't even go to the first primary. He dropped out before the primaries as all two candidates, I don't know how to say this. Except for three of the candidates, all the rest dropped out before the primaries and some even before the debates. So Lincoln Chafee was one of those people. Jim Webb was also another one. Martin O'Malley went to Iowa, and then he dropped out promptly that night. So Lincoln Chafee really wasn't a top notable figure in the Democratic Party, considering he was previously a part of the Republican Party for a while, and then he switched to the Independent Party. Then as Obama rolled around, he went back to the Democratic Party, but he did show firm opposition to the president. And he is today. He's showing firm opposition to Donald Trump, but he also wasn't that type of Clinton-type Democrat. He did bash Hillary Clinton throughout the campaign season and did say that people were voting against Donald Trump and not for her, and that was true in some cases. And when it came down to the debate performance, Lincoln Chafee did not come off as a viable candidate. He looked clumsy. The things he said against Hillary Clinton weren't the most popular things at the time, although they may be now, and it really did not help him, considering that the Democratic Party had already poised to have Hillary Clinton as the nominee, whether that's a good or bad thing. So Lincoln Chafee really did not have a chance at the Democratic primary, but at the presidential election, it may be a different story. We're going to go ahead and go through all the states that go for Donald Trump, as usual, because, again, we don't flip these states very often unless there's a certain Democrat, and usually it's only one state, which is why I'm not flipping them right now. And then, of course, Lincoln Chafee shoots right ahead with California. These videos pretty much start out the same and end the same. Not really end the same, but they turn out looking the same way because, again, a number of these states are no longer swing states like they used to be. Keep that in mind. States like Virginia, which used to be huge swing states, are no longer swing states. And yes, we have a little bit more swing states, but considering the more competitive districts back in the older elections and how partisan we've gotten and how many more people have drawn away from working across party lines, it really goes to show how partisan we've got. We're not going to see Indiana or Missouri or any state over here that we see red right now go blue for a while. And we're not going to see any of these northern states go red. And, of course, there always are exceptions with specific candidates. But when we go down to the national stage, these states probably are not going to flip. Right now, New Mexico, I do see going to Lincoln Chafee. I also see him carrying the state of Virginia. I see that going to him as well. I really do think Donald Trump would do well in this state in the presidential debates, but Virginia and New Mexico are Democratic states at heart, along with Colorado. They are going to retain their Democratic identity, and Donald Trump is not doing too well when it comes to approval polls here. But Georgia, Arizona, Iowa, and Ohio, I all see going to Donald Trump. But when we go up to the Northeast, a lot of people can argue with me on this one, but New Hampshire, I do narrowly see going to Lincoln Chafee. I think he could definitely appeal to them a little bit better, showing a little bit more bipartisan support. He probably won't gain any Republican voters considering he's a Democrat now, but he could also play to the fact that he was a Republican, turned independent, turned Democrat, which shows that he's not just a partisan candidate, and that could definitely help him with a number of independent voters, which is something that's going to be important to his election bid. But I do not see him carrying Nevada. Donald Trump narrowly lost it in 2016. Right now, I see that one going to Donald Trump by a narrow margin, but up in Maine, except for that second district, I see a Lincoln Chafee victory. So this is actually turning out to a little bit closer than I thought it would, but Lincoln Chafee has 216 electoral votes and Donald Trump with 222. Trump would likely carry North Carolina and Florida, so I think this puts him nearing the top at 266 electoral votes. So Donald Trump is probably going to win this election, but Lincoln Chafee could also put up a good standing against Donald Trump, but Donald Trump will likely carry right now, he would likely carry the Rust Belt, just going back into the Republican column. Michigan, you could argue, could get a little bit closer. I actually see it as a pure toss-up. Michigan, because of the fact that the president's approval rating is nearing the low 30s, and also the fact that he has neglected the state the most. And Michigan also, we've seen a couple special elections, as we saw in Pennsylvania, and you could also use that Supreme Court election in Wisconsin to make an argument there. But Michigan has shown a little bit more Democratic tendencies. Donald Trump only won here by 11,000 votes compared to 22,000 in Wisconsin and 44,000 in Pennsylvania. So it is the state that went the least for Donald Trump out of all of those three Rust Belt states. Right now, Donald Trump could win it, and Lincoln Chafee could win it. I'm going to leave it off as a pure toss-up. But the original call was Donald Trump, but actually right now I'm going to leave that one in the pure toss-up column because I'm very conflicted as to how to call this state. But regardless of how I call this state, Donald Trump would still win this election. So just to finish it off, I'll just give that one to Lincoln Chafee. So thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I will see you all later today.